Listen up. This message is a hard-hitting call to action to every one of you out there that's in the donor class. You're a trustee, you're a personal representative, you're a fiduciary, you're someone that is in control of someone else's money in a fiduciary capacity. Mom, dad died, left a trust. They trusted you to protect the kids, the grandkids. You're an attorney, you're a financial advisor, you come into possession of 5 million, 10 million, whatever, on behalf of this donor class over here, and you have this responsibility to protect that money and make sure that it's distributed out to the beneficiaries according to the terms of the trust. For the last 50 years or so, as the United States financial institutions and markets have gone up, there has been an extraordinary unilateral push to put everything in the equities market, in the stock market, and that has worked. You cannot deny that. But as we sit here in 2026, anybody with half a brain clearly understands that where this market is right now and where this trillions of dollars in the donor class sits is at grave risk and peril. If you are watching this video, I hope that you're thinking about what's happening in the financial market right now, particularly if you're a trustee, if you are any of these professionals over here that's managing this stuff. But if you are a beneficiary over here and you are the brother of the other one over here that's taking care of mom and dad's money, and he's the one charged with making sure it gets to the other family members or the grandkids or whatever else, you guys got to have this conversation about what's happening out there in the stock market, in the equities market, because everyone that's got half a brain, particularly like this sophisticated group over here that is used to managing money, anyone with half a brain or anyone that only has a quarter of a brain knows that the financial market is in deep, deep trouble and that a correction/crash is coming. So what should you be doing? You should be listening to your little spidey sense out here. You should be listening to what your wife is telling you. You should be listening to your own intuition that tells you that I got to pull some of this money out of here because when this crash happens, I want it somewhere safe and secure. I want to talk about this in the context of the Florida Trust Code and the Prudent Investor Rule. You are not required to blindly ride the equity markets. The problem is every advisor that's over here on the equity side or on the professional side almost invariably has a one-track mind, and that's what? Take all mom's money, take all granddad's money, and put it into the equity market. Why? Because they're all making money on this. The brokers, the advisors, the management fees, the funding fees, and frankly, that's been okay as things been up. But as we know things are going to crash, all those people are going to go running from the hills. I'll do another post here about what's going to happen when this crash starts happening, and then you can't even get a hold of any of that money. But there's no question but that this upward trajectory is going to come crashing down. What do you have the ability to do as the trustee? What do you have the duty to do to protect these people over here? There is no question in my mind that what you have to do is pull some of this money out of there and get it somewhere hard, get it somewhere firm, get it somewhere that you can touch and have your hands on. Because there are going to be trusts out here that are going to decline in value precipitously. Even if they've got good management, they got it in the hands of somebody that's got it somewhere conservative, this stuff is at risk. So what could you be doing with it? What must you be doing with it? Well, we're also in a real estate crash right now. No question about that. But you could be pulling money out of here. You should be pulling money out of here and parking that money somewhere where it is tangible. So my friend John, this is a message to you here at the 417 mark. When you have all of your money parked in these books, these binders that you've had coming in, and I've watched it for decades as that line's gone up and you've been very proud of the performance. Explain to me why, in honor to your father, you have not taken some of that money out and put it somewhere where the clan can take advantage of it, where the clan can appreciate it, somewhere that is physical and that's real and that everyone can fly out and be part, whether it's near where you live or whether it's out somewhere west. Why would you not be pulling some of the money out of there and parking it somewhere in dirt? It's just that simple. Dirt is not going to go away. Things are going to get turbulent. There is no question. And maybe gold and silver ain't where it should be. But if you got $10-20 million sitting out there in equity stuff, and there's absolutely the possibility, and I think probability, that poof, we're going to wake up one day and that line's just going to go like that, and trillions of dollars worth of fake money is going to disappear. But if we have this conversation now and you know that I can pull $2 million out of here and drop it somewhere in dirt, buy a piece of dirt, buy a cabin, buy somewhere on a lake, why in God's name wouldn't you? And the reason is really simple, and it's almost like this zombie class that we've created among all the professional investors and advisors. They have convinced all of these donor people out here, and I call the donor people, the ones managing the trust, ones are the personal representatives. The entire financial institutions got them kind of locked into this trance that just says, just put it all there. And no question, that's worked over the last couple decades, that the line has gone up. There's no question. But just because it's always been that way does not mean that you should keep it that way. Why in God's name wouldn't you pull some of that money out and buy property in Colorado? It will crash, there's no question, when the rest of the world crashes, but at least it's solid and secure. Why, particularly if you have big amounts of money in the $10-20 million range, lots of those people, why in God's name wouldn't you really diversify and say, you know what? There's property in Canada, as an example, that we could buy, that family could go to, particularly if you've got family like, concentrated around Old Northeast and stuff like that, New York, Vermont, those areas, Michigan, easy to get to. It would be completely permissible, and I would say absolutely advisable under the Prudent Investor Rule with you as the trustee, to take that money and park it somewhere like Canada. That's your duty. That's your responsibility. Watch this video. Remember it. If you're in the beneficiary class over here, share this video with Uncle Bob, who's managing the trust. If you're in the beneficiary class over here and you're concerned, engage in the conversation with Uncle Jim over here, who's managing the trust. Convince him of both the financial implications of doing this, i.e. protecting the money, but then the more holistic implications of doing this, because that's what John would have wanted. He would have wanted somewhere where the family and friends and everyone could go and appreciate and take advantage of this money while they're all alive, not just sitting in some spreadsheet.